Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets and drama. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about some of the All-Stars seasons that will be airing in 2024, but this video isn't going to be like my normal scripted type videos. This video is going to be a little bit more freeform and improv-y. So I'm going to be talking about 3 different All-Stars that are going to be happening in 2024, and I'm going to be talking about Global All-Stars, UK vs the World Season 2, and All-Stars 9 US. And I'm going to be talking about some rumours, the rumoured cast list, and potentially some backstage tea and speculations. Please note that this video does not contain any spoilers in terms of where the queens will actually place, but there are some rumours in terms of how the season will run, so please just bear that in mind. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. Global All-Stars. So Global All-Stars is one of those things that's been rumoured for a long time, and the premise is that there are people from every different franchise competing together in one season. Now, we have had something similar before with UK vs the World and Canada vs the World, which combines different franchises. But Global All-Stars is supposed to be one from sort of every single franchise. And the season was announced back in December 2022. And here's what we know about it so far, based on rumours and speculation online. So we think there are going to be 12 episodes of Global All-Stars, and we think that it was filmed sometime between the 16th of October 2023 and November the 17th, 2023. The season is expected to premiere sometime in summer 2024, allegedly to coincide with the Olympics. The season is actually being filmed in Colombia, reportedly, and this is something that has actually happened with several other franchises. For example, Drag Race Germany and I believe Drag Race Mexico and maybe one more were actually filmed in Colombia and not in the respective countries. The reason for this is because it's reported that Paramount has a studio in Colombia and it's cheaper for them to have all of these different seasons filmed in the same studio that they have in Colombia. So all of the staff, the production assistants, things like that, plus all the contestants are flown out to Colombia. I've also seen some rumours online suggesting that the reason they chose Colombia is because it's quite cheap to film in Colombia, and the Colombian government does sort of subsidised things for the arts and filming things such as that. So you can get grants, and that's why it's a lot cheaper to do it in Colombia. And because this is a global All-Stars, it will be taking place in English, even though it was filmed in Colombia. And this is why quite a few of the queens apparently have taken English lessons, especially if they're from a non-English speaking season, because they want to improve their English before competing in an English speaking competition. And one of the other things that confirms that it was filmed in Colombia is when you look at the credits at the end of, for example, Drag Race Germany, you can see that it says thank you to the government of Colombia. And also a lot of the names of the production staff are sort of Spanish sounding, and Colombia is a Spanish speaking country. And there has been an image released of RuPaul apparently on the set of Global All-Stars in Colombia. So for the season, and this is a general rumour for most All-Star seasons, the queens apparently get a $20,000 stipend or grant, and this is to help pay for their looks for the season. The queens can, of course, spend more money than that, but the whole idea is that they're giving money to the contestants because then it means that the contestants can't complain about money being a barrier to paying for outfits. And the rumour is that Drag Race started doing this stipend quite recently because apparently quite a few contestants were being asked for All-Stars, but they were turning it down because it was just too expensive and they weren't necessarily getting much from it in terms of the exposure. The way that the season will allegedly run is that there will be 6 non-competitive episodes with no eliminations. And this has been going on for a while, that the queens who go on All-Stars, if they get eliminated first, they don't get much airtime and then it's not really worth them to go on the season. And that's why I think Drag Race is introducing this approach of having some non-competitive episodes so that the queens can stay for longer and showcase more of their looks and get more airtime. But it seems like there might only be 6 non-competitive episodes, and then after that there will be regular eliminations like normal. Okay, so now let's look at the rumoured cast list. So, of course, this is just a rumour, this is not confirmed. However, this is on the RuPaul's Drag Race wiki, and in the past, this wiki has tended to be quite accurate. And some very sleuthy people can figure out when the queens don't really post much on social media, which means that they're probably filming Drag Race. So we have Alyssa Edwards, who of course was from Drag Race US Season 5 and All Stars 2. We have Athena from Belgique Season 1. Eva LaQueen from Philippines Season 1. Gala Barrow from Mexico Season 1. Kitty Scott Claus from UK 3. Queen Kong from Down Under 2. Miranda from Brazil 1. Nilenya from Italia 2. Pythia from Canada Season 2. Soa de Muse from France 1. Tessa Testicle from Germany 1. And Vanity Vane from Sweden Season 1. So this is a very interesting cast, and it does seem to have almost every single franchise of Drag Race. The only franchises that aren't represented, I believe, are Thailand and España. So according to something that I found on a Reddit thread, there was actually a Thai contestant, and their name was Candy Cyanide, who was from Season 2 of Thailand. And apparently, people kept DMing her because they thought that she might be on Global All Stars, and she's tried to sort of evade the question, and people thought this was a bit weird. And apparently, people then started bombarding her DMs trying to get her to answer as to whether she was on Global All Stars. And then eventually she said something on social media which maybe she shouldn't have done because she was apparently getting bombarded with so many messages. And then she was allegedly dropped from the cast at the last minute. And obviously this is really unfair if this is true, because the people shouldn't be trying to bombard the contestants with this sort of thing. We all know that the contestants have to be quite secretive. So if this is the case, this is a real shame, and we'll see whether this actually does turn out to be true. But this might potentially be why there is no person from Thailand competing. And in terms of there's no one from España either, the only reason I could find online for this potentially is that apparently it's quite difficult to get a visa for Colombia, and also there might have been some scheduling conflicts with when the season was being filmed compared to when España was being filmed, but these are just rumours that I found online. One of the big fan theories for this Global All-Stars, for this particular cast list that's rumoured, is that they think that the season is being set up for Alyssa Edwards to finally get a crown. And this is not necessarily a new thing. We've heard this type of rumour before. For example, a lot of people felt that season 1 of All Stars in the US was set up deliberately to try and give Chad Michaels the crown, because a lot of people felt that Chad should have won season 4 rather than Sharon Needles. And the same thing kind of happened with All Stars 8, and people said that that was also for Jimbo to win. And so this fan theory has been going on for years, and this is just another example that people think this particular Global All-Stars is set up for Alyssa Edwards to win. But obviously there's no way for us to know whether that's true or not. So according to some information that was online, these are just some rumours. These are not spoilers necessarily, but these are just things that might be happening on the season. But the way that the season's going to happen is going to be a little bit different to usual. So apparently there's going to be a phase 1 of groups between episodes 1 and 6. And the queens will apparently be divided into 3 different groups with 4 countries in each group. And then each group will compete in challenges throughout the first 6 episodes and get maybe some sort of like a badge like on UK, or a bit like the stars on All Stars 7. And then in the 6th episode, the queen with the worst performance in each group will get eliminated. And then phase 2 is the semi-finals between episodes 7 and 11. And the remaining 9 queens will go on to the semi-finals. And then in episodes 7 to 10, the semi-finalists will face new challenges and continue to accumulate their wins. And then at the end of the 10th episode, the queens with the worst performance in the semi-finals will then be eliminated, and then there might be a reunion in the 11th episode. And then phase 3 of the season would be episode 12, which is where the 4 finalists will compete in one last challenge, which will probably be either a lip sync for the crown, or it might be a performance like in other seasons. And then obviously the winner will be chosen from those 4, and they will be crowned the Global Drag Race champion. One thing I found quite interesting about this cast list is the time of when it's taking place. For example, apparently it was filmed sometime in mid-October 2023, but if we look at someone like Tessa Testicle on Germany Season 1, Germany Season 1 only just recently finished a few months ago, so if this is true that Tessa is on this season, she must have literally been off her season for maybe a few months and then gone straight into this, which would be quite strange in a way because you don't really know how a queen is going to be perceived by the rest of the fandom until the season has started running. So if this is true, that would seem quite strange, but who knows, potentially that is true. And this is kind of similar for some of the other contestants who came from seasons that aired quite recently, whereas some of the other contestants, for example, Alyssa Edwards or someone like Queen Kong's, Kitty Scott-Claus, all of those seasons happened several years ago, so those queens are quite well known in the fandom by now. But some of the other queens, I'm just slightly surprised because they've just literally come off a season, maybe not even a year ago, and now they're suddenly back on a Global All-Stars. But there is precedent for this because we know, for example, that Ginger Minj came straight off season 7 and into All Stars 2. And Ginger has said before that she felt like she went in too soon for All Stars and she wishes she had waited a little bit. So we'll see how this happens for Global All-Stars and whether this makes a difference to how the queens perform. And while we're talking about Drag Race Germany, I did find one thing about Drag Race Germany that I thought could be interesting. According to some rumours online, there was actually an extra contestant for Drag Race Germany who was a plus-sized bearded queen. But apparently, when she went out to Colombia to film, she had a mental health struggle and she had to quit right before filming started. And according to the rumours, she had to pay for herself to fly back home to Germany. I can't find any proof of this, but this was talked about online and I thought that could potentially be an interesting piece of tea for anyone that watched Drag Race Germany. And so if this rumoured cast list is true, this could be a really interesting season, and we've never had a Global All-Stars before, so it'll be really interesting to see how these queens from different franchises and different countries all come together, and whether there's going to be quite a lot of cultural differences and language differences which might impact the way that they perform in the competition. And according to the rumours, we'll have to wait until sometime in summer 2024 for the premiere of this season. UK versus the World 2. So we all know that season 1 of UK vs the World premiered in February 2022, and a lot of people were saying that we've been waiting for such a long time for season 2 to be announced that it might not be happening. But it seems like this is actually going to go ahead and it has been officially announced. So what we know so far, there's not that much, but what we do know so far apparently is that filming started sometime between February the 5th, 2023, and then it ended in sometime in late February 2023, which if that's true, that's quite a short period of time. It's about a month. And this might be that there are only a limited number of episodes like in the previous season. And this also means that the premiere of this season could be around January 2024. And this timeline does kind of make sense because February 2023 was right after DragCon UK. DragCon UK happened in January 2023, and I should know because I was there and I did a video about it. And so the theory is that RuPaul was already in the UK with Michelle for DragCon UK, and they just stayed and then filmed UK vs the World 2. And there is precedent for this because, for example, for Drag Race UK Season 5, which only just finished, in the first episode there was this bit where the queens had to lip sync in front of this other group of Drag Race alums, and it was quite a random group of people, but when I watched the episode I immediately recognised that all of those queens were at DragCon UK because I had seen them there. And this makes sense that when the queens were in the UK for DragCon UK, they also filmed UK Season 5 at the time. And so it stands to reason that they might have done something similar this time and they might have had the queens stay behind and then they filmed UK vs the World 2. So now we're going to run through the rumoured contestant list for UK vs the World 2. So we have Arantxa Castilla-La Mancha from España Season 1, Charitha May from UK 3, Gothy Kendall from UK 1, Hannah Conda from Down Under 2, Jombas Blonde from UK 4, Kita Minaj from Holland 2, La Grande Dame from France 1, Marina Summers from Philippines 1, Mayhem Miller from US 10 and All Stars 5, Scarlet Envy from Season 11 US and All Stars 6, and Tia Kofi from UK Season 2. If this cast is true, it would be really interesting because I read online that it would be the only All-Stars ever where none of the queens have ever competed against each other on the same season before. Because in previous seasons we've had queens from the same season or they've been on the same All-Stars already, but in this season every single person has been on a different version or different season of Drag Race. I think there's some really interesting queens on this list, and for example there's some people like Hannah Conda who did really well in her season, so I'm not too surprised. Mayhem Miller and Scarlet Envy also did quite well and they've also been on All-Stars since then. Tia Kofi was extremely popular on her season, so I can see why she would be on. People that I'd be quite interested to see is someone like Gothy Kendall, if that's true, because she was on season 1 of UK, which is now quite a few years ago. So it'd be really interesting to see how her drag has elevated, especially because she was early out on her season. And what I quite like is that on UK versus the World 1, we only had a couple of non-English speaking contestants, whereas on this season we have quite a few. So that will be really interesting to see how that dynamic can change. And I think it's really interesting to see how the different cultures are all going to mix. In terms of the cast list, the only person from UK2 who might be on is Tia Kofi. And I think some people were surprised by this because UK2 has been regarded as one of the best ever seasons of Drag Race. And so many people have thought of people like Bimini, Tace or Ahura to come back for an All-Stars, and they're wondering why they're not on the list. The only thing I can think of is that Tace said in an interview with Joseph Shepherd relatively recently that she wants to wait to come back for All-Stars and she doesn't like it when people come straight back in. She likes to see a few years of growth. So I think Tace is kind of off the table for the time being. Bimini was also asked by Joseph Shepherd in an interview about All-Stars, but Bimini said that they're just working on their drag at the moment, but they have a really good relationship with WOW and they would like to come back one day when they feel that they are ready to do that. And Ahura was recently on a reality TV dating show, so it could be that clashed with the filming for this. In terms of the episodes, we don't know exactly how it's going to shake out. We don't know how many episodes there'll be. It's the UK, so there's probably no prize money like in previous years because it's on the BBC. Some people said that they were quite sad that some of the contestants on this season would have been better on Global All-Stars because Global All-Stars has prize money and also more budget. And some people said that because UK versus the World 2 was announced before Global All-Stars, it might have been the case that some people said yes because they didn't realise there was going to be a Global All-Stars. But we don't know anything more than that, so we will just have to see how different it is from the last UK versus the World and whether it can live up to Global All-Stars when that also comes out. But this season is probably going to premiere much sooner, and they think that it's going to drop sometime around January 2024. All-Stars 9. So All-Stars 9 is probably the season of the 3 I've talked about so far that there's the least information about. All-Stars 9 was announced by Paramount on August 21st, 2023, and it's alleged that the filming happened sometime in July 2023. According to the rumours, there's going to be a non-elimination format similar to All-Stars 7, which means that no one gets eliminated. And as I mentioned earlier, this has been an ongoing theme for the last few All-Stars, and according to some rumours and some things that queens have said, apparently there are a lot of queens who turned down All-Stars in the past because they didn't like eliminations. And so it seems like perhaps if this is true that it's going to be non-eliminations, it might be that that's what Drag Race has to do now in order to be able to entice more queens to come on the show. There's also the same rumour that the contestants are given a $20,000 allowance for their outfits. And one rumour that was found online is that there might potentially be no lip sync assassins on this particular season, unlike the last few All-Stars. And this kind of would make sense if there are no eliminations because there were no lip sync assassins on All-Stars 7. So it will be interesting to see how this shakes out. So let's go through the rumoured cast list. So we have Angeria from season 14, Gottmik from season 13, Georges from season 14, Nina West from season 11, Plastique Tiara from season 11, Roxy Andrews from season 5 and All-Stars 2, Chanel from season 1 and All-Stars 1, and Vanessa Vanjie Mateo from season 10 and 11. So this cast list is quite interesting because it's actually a mix of a lot of the later, more recent seasons of Drag Race. The only people who are from an original older season of Drag Race are Chanel from season 1 and Roxy Andrews from season 5. So it'll be really interesting to see how a lot of these newer season queens all work together and whether there'll be a different dynamic of kind of old school and new school Drag Race. I couldn't really find much information in terms of any drama. The only one thing I could find is something that happened quite a few years ago involving Nina West. So back in 2019, Nina West was on The View, which is a popular TV show, talk show in America, and she was on with Monet Exchange as well. And one of the co-hosts at the time was Meghan McCain, who is the daughter of John McCain, the late politician who ran against Obama for president. And a lot of people were criticising Monet and Nina because they were kind of buddying up and being very friendly with Meghan McCain, even though she is quite right-wing and in the past has said some quite anti-LGBT plus things. She's been accused of transphobia and quite a few other things. And the other reason is also because apparently Meghan McCain's husband has also said some transphobic stuff. And he apparently runs a website that regularly publishes anti-trans rhetoric. So people were criticising Nina and Monet for kind of buddying up to her and saying that they shouldn't have been on the show with her. At the time, a journalist named Liz Rocha tweeted about the situation and said, "This is gross, she's an unrepentant fascist and you guys are ultra disappointing." And Nina then replied to this and said, "Just ultra, not totally." And a few other Drag Race stars kind of weighed in on this, and Katya tweeted just saying gross, while Aquaria said you're not wrong. And then Jeremy Carey, who was formerly known as Fifi O'Hara, responded to Nina's response when she said just ultra, not totally. And Jeremy said, "Not the ticket girl, this is not how you respond. I am honestly flabbergasted at this response when you can clearly see this upsets so many." And although other contestants from All Stars 9 have also had some controversy, this one particularly involving Nina came up again when I was researching for All Stars 9, and there were a lot of people talking about it in the Reddit posts. And there were also some other rumours saying that Nina, because of these things, is not very well liked among some groups of queens. But just to make it clear, this is of course online speculation and it's not been proven or verified. And so we'll have to see if anything more about this comes out, and potentially if the cast do get officially announced, whether people will then bring this back up about Nina and whether any further drama will come from it. And so there you go, there was a quick video with some rumours and speculation about 3 All-Star seasons that we're getting in 2024, along with the rumoured cast lists. Let me know in the comments which of the 3 seasons you're most looking forward to and why. And also let me know if any of the casting decisions surprised you and who you would like to see on any further All-Star seasons. And I'd just like to give a shout out to my amazing Patreon members. In the You're a Winner Baby tier we have Rochelle, Emerald1508, PC Smush, Christian and Ethan. And in the Shantae You Stay tier we have Charlie, David, Becky, Craig, Max, Kylie, Amy and Linda. And if you'd like to support my channel, you can join my Patreon and get exclusive benefits such as early access to my videos, exclusive chat facilities, and you'll also get priority when submitting interview questions. I'll put a link in the description if you want to join today. Please make sure you like, comment and share this video as it really helps support my channel. And of course, please make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date about new uploads. Thanks for watching and I hope you'll join me again in future videos. Thank you, bye!